I'm Elex Michaelson. This week, the issue is a different approach from Democrats on crime and homelessness. With us, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan, first high-profile Democrat to support Prop 36. Also with us, conservative commentator Michael Knowles of the Daily Wire on why Trump won and why he thinks Newsom may be the Democrats' answer. Then, the issue is my cause, my cleats, the moving way the Rams running backs are spreading ALS awareness. The issue is starts right now.
Broadcasting across California, you're watching The Issue Is.
And welcome to The Issue Is. I'm Elex Michaelson. With us is the mayor of San Jose, Matt Mahan, to talk about a potential new way forward for Democrats. Mahan was the first Democratic mayor in California to support Prop 36, the effort to reform Prop 47, with tougher penalties for some thefts and drug use. Got almost 70% of the vote, despite most Democratic leaders, including Governor Newsom, opposing it. On a similar note this week, independent Nathan Hochman was sworn in as L.A. County District Attorney by Arnold Schwarzenegger after defeating the co-author of Prop 47, George Gascon, by around 20 points. So is there a realignment now happening in our politics? Mayor Mahan, welcome back to The Issue Is. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me back. I appreciate it.
What is going on right now, and what is the lesson from Prop 36?
Well, there's a big gap between where ordinary Californians are and the political establishment in Sacramento. You saw that with 36. Make no mistake, that was a voter revolt. Voters kept telling us they were worried about crime. Sacramento kept saying there's no problem here. They were not serious about it, and voters have voted for change. I'm worried they haven't gotten the message yet. I haven't heard a word about implementation. We need to expand treatment beds and get people the care that they need and have consequences for repeat crime. Similarly, on energy costs, we've got the governor in the Central Valley saying, I hear you, and yet we're passing policies that are going to raise gas prices 65 cents next year. We want EV adoption, but we're talking about excluding the leading EV maker, which actually makes its cars here in the state of California. So it feels overtly political. So I'm worried that the party isn't getting the message. We need less performative politics and more focus on government performance.
And the first reaction to Trump's victory from the governor of the state, Governor Newsom, was to call a special session. They've talked about it as a Trump-proofing of California. You think that's a wise use of time?
Well, I think that the best resistance, if you want to call it that, is to make California work. Prove that what we're doing here is a model for the country going forward. That's where we've been. For the last 50 years, we were the state that led the way. We innovated, we solved problems, we were the trendsetter, and now we're reacting. And sure, there will be things we can work with the Trump administration on. There may be places we have to push back, and there may be some legal battles, but the emphasis should be making our state the most economically vibrant and competitive, having the best public schools, getting everybody housed, controlling cost of living for working families. If we do that, I don't think we have to worry too much about what Trump does. And I think we will continue to lead the nation forward. But unfortunately, people aren't looking to us for leadership anymore, and that's a problem.
Sounds like what you're saying is that you think the governor is focused on the wrong things.
I think the Democratic Party in our state needs to get back to basics, listen to ordinary people about the issues that affect their daily lives, be honest that the policies and programs we have in place are not always delivering the outcomes we need. It's why I was an early backer of Prop 36.
Mm-hmm. A huge issue in this state is homelessness. We talk about all these homelessness solutions, and then the problem keeps getting worse.
Well, actually, in San Jose, over the last 2 years, we've reduced the number of people living outside by about 15%. And the way we've done it is by converting motels, and that's a place where I give the governor credit. The Home Key Project has helped fund that work. We've stood up modular units and interim housing solutions. We've added safe parking, and now we're looking at a safe sleeping site. We're creating basic, dignified, managed environments with security, sanitation, and supportive services. And when they're available, we are banning camping and requiring that people use them. That's the formula. If we want to end unsheltered homelessness, you've got to have places for people to go and hold people accountable for using them.
Another big issue, especially in San Jose, the heart of Silicon Valley, is artificial intelligence and this question of how does it impact our lives? How do we regulate it? You held a big conference this week with people coming from around the country to you to talk about this. What did you learn?
Well, yeah, it was great. We had our first Gov AI Coalition Summit. We had 200 public agencies come together in San Jose to share best practices. Look, AI concerns some people, and we need to take seriously the risks around data security and privacy. And so we have to get that right. And we have frameworks for being able to do that. But I think there's tremendous potential for new AI-powered tools to improve productivity in government. We can speed up permitting. In San Jose, we're actually optimizing bus routes. We can reduce the time that buses spend at red lights by 50%. We're proactively identifying potholes and filling them before they create damage to somebody's vehicle and make them pay for it. We're identifying when streetlights go out, when there's graffiti. We are proactively delivering services faster and more efficiently by using better tools. And that's, again, that's how California should lead. We should lean into creativity and innovation to make government better.
Are you thinking about running for governor?
I don't want to run for governor. I want to run San Jose. I love this job. I have the opportunity, if the voters decide, to do this for 8 more years because we realigned our election date. I love what I'm doing. My wife and I are raising 2 little kids in San Jose. We're very happy. I want to make San Jose work and make it a model for the rest of the state. But I am talking about statewide issues and Sacramento a lot because the truth is, we can't solve it alone in one city. So many of our policies, the funding we have, is all tied together. We need state, county, and cities to all get aligned around solutions that work.
So that's a firm no in terms of the governor's race.
I'm not running for governor. No, I'm very happy to be mayor of San Jose. I want us to be a model for the state. But that does mean, in fact, I'm down in LA today to meet with Mayor Bass and other big city mayors from around the state to talk about what the next year will look like and how we can work together to move forward solutions to homelessness and crime and the high cost of living.
Let's wrap up with something fun. We do personal issues, which is your favorite part of the segment, of course. This is where we ask about you, pop culture favorites, first thing that comes to mind. All right, you ready?
I'm terrible at pop culture. I
well,
know literally nothing in this category.
What is your favorite TV show you've recently binged?
Oh, gosh. Oh, we are watching this show called The Jackal, Day of the Jackal. Remember this?
I have not, but I got to check it out.
Pretty good.
Favorite movie you've watched lately?
Lately? Is watching Braveheart for the 5th time?
There you go. That's good.
Okay.
What's your favorite holiday song?
Jingle Bells? Silent Night? How's that? That's
okay.
Better one.
And what's your favorite holiday tradition?
You know, fire in the fireplace on Christmas Eve, just hanging out with the kids and you know, reading the night before Christmas.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your views. We appreciate it. I've got some Jingle Bells playing now for you. That was what came to mind for me.
You knew I was going to pick the most generic one.
That was it, baby. All right, Mayor Mahan, thank you. Michael Knowles of the Daily Wire joins us next with a different perspective. Thanks for watching The Issue Is.
I think it's taken the air out of the sails of really the only line of the Biden campaign, which is this guy will destroy the whole system of government.
That was Michael Knowles on The Issue Is from the RNC in Milwaukee this summer when he was confident that Donald Trump would win the election. Well, Michael turned out to be right, and now he's here to gloat. Michael Knowles, welcome back to The Issue Is.
Alex, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for my favorite introduction I've ever heard, which is Michael was right. I want all of my appearances to begin with that phrase.
And by the way, I like your subtle branding of your cigars that you've placed.
I try, as always, for subtlety, nuance, and class, Alex. The Mayflower cigar is sitting right here, now that you mention it.
There you go. All right. Well, let's get into it. A lot of Democrats in this state were stunned that Trump won. Why do you think he did? And what do you think that says about where we're at as a country?
I think Trump is a really talented candidate. I know that there are many, even in the Republican Party, who still doubt that. But I think it's impressive when one can win a non-consecutive second term for only the second time in American history, win the highest office in the land before you've ever been elected dog catcher. He's good. He just brings in a lot of people who are not commonly on the Republican team. However, all of that said, I think the Democrats just really blew it. I think Biden also would have lost to Trump, but I think he would have had a better shot than Kamala. I think the past 4 years have just been disastrous. I think on meat and potatoes, kind of kitchen table topics, the Democrats lost Americans. The inflation was just too bad. The immigration crisis had just gotten a little bit too bad. Foreign policy had spun out of control. And then on the more ideological or social issues, I think Democrats had lost the common sense.
You really think that Joe Biden in his 80s, the Joe Biden we saw on that debate stage, would do better than Kamala Harris?
Yes, Kamala's a really bad candidate. She's great behind the scenes. She works the levers of power very well. Obviously, she's had a pretty impressive political career. But people underestimate Joe Biden. I know he's got dementia. I know he's obviously in decline. Even if he had been firing on all cylinders, I think his record was just too bad probably to get reelected. But he's good at politics. This is a guy who managed to get himself elected to the Senate before he was constitutionally eligible to do it. He spent half a century in politics, got himself up to VP, was able to get elected president even after he was a cadaver by all accounts. So he's got a real talent in retail politics. Kamala just doesn't have that. She's just not likable. And so it was a mistake. Probably Democrats would have done a lot better with someone like Gretchen Whitmer, would have done a lot better with someone like Gavin Newsom. But I think some of those other Democrats thought, you know what, let's send up Kamala to be the lamb to the slaughter, and we're going to keep our powder dry for 2028.
Of course, Kamala Harris was very successful in California politics, winning a lot of statewide elections here. Let's go to the cabinet, the president-elect's cabinet, filled with a lot of billionaires and Fox News hosts and contributors who are really good on TV. What should we read into how Trump plans to govern based off the team that he's assembled?
Well, I think he needs to start picking more Daily Wire hosts for his cabinet. That would be my first suggestion. But barring that, I think he's made mostly really good picks here. There were some stumbles. Obviously, Matt Gaetz was never going to make it through Senate confirmation. So President Trump let that one go. Now the Democrats are coming after Pete Hegseth. And I think Pete has a much, much stronger claim to his office than maybe even Matt Gaetz did. If he does go down, I think that's going to pose a real threat to the Trump agenda because they've already got a little blood in the water with the Gaetz debacle. If Hegseth goes down too, I don't think you're going to get Bobby Kennedy through. I don't think you're going to get Tulsi Gabbard through. What do we make of it big picture? I think what we're seeing here is an acceleration of what we saw in Trump's picks in the first term, which is that this man is going to be unpredictable. He's going to pick a total dove for some positions, and he's going to pick a John Bolton for another position. And that's been a strength of his in negotiating with his adversaries in America and with America's adversaries overseas, is you can never quite tell where the guy's coming from.
Although I think we both would say that he's not going to pick John Bolton this time. After everything.
Bolton's probably had his moment in the sun
probably off
in the Trump
list.
circles.
The anti-Trump books don't get you there. Where do you think that the Democratic Party more broadly should go from here? And who do you think would be their strongest nominee in 2028?
Woke Caesar, Gavin Newsom, your governor. I think there's no question about it. That's not a phrase of mine. I borrowed it from the great pseudonymous Twitter account Edmund Smirk, but I think it holds. Newsom is a really talented politician. I am a former resident, as you know, Elex, of Mussolini's failed state. However, I got to give credit where credit is due. The guy is really talented at retail politics. I look around the rest of the Democrat Party right now. I don't quite see that. Josh Shapiro is somewhat attractive in Pennsylvania. He doesn't cut quite the same image as Governor Newsom does. And also Josh Shapiro has the baggage of being Jewish at a time when the base of the Democratic Party is become vociferously anti-Israel. So I think that unjustly would be a knock against him. Gretchen Whitmer, maybe. I don't think she quite has it. Mayor Pete, I don't think he's going to make it across the finish line. I guess they could have tried to run Kennedy, but Kennedy's with the Republicans now.
Do you think that Newsom would be the toughest person to beat? Or are you saying that because
Yes.
you want to run against him? You think Newsom is actually the strongest candidate?
Yes, I'm being disinterested and charitable to the Democrat side, Elex. Pains me to do, but I think he would be the toughest one to beat right now. Who would I most like to run against? Kamala, no question. There's a leak out that Kamala's told her advisors to prepare potentially for a 2028 run. That would be great. Please let me know where I can send my donation and if there are any federal maximum contributions I can give. Newsom is the one who really stands out to me. In part also, not just because he looks good and he talks good and he's the governor of a big and important state, and he's been in politics since he was in diapers, but also because he's a great example of Democrats at their version of their best, which is he is quite progressive, but he kind of sounds like a moderate, and he makes you feel good when he speaks. I, as a Republican, would not look forward to running against him in 28.
Well, I was not expecting this to turn into the Michael Knowles endorses Gavin Newsom's campaign. So this, we just gave...
Hopefully I can damage him by doing that.
Okay. We want to play personal issues with you to wrap things up, to get to know you a little bit better and have some fun. These are rapid fire things. First thing that comes to mind to get to know you. So here we go, Michael. What is the favorite TV show you've recently binged?
I haven't binged a TV show in years. The last one that I got into was Dark Matter. I made it 3 episodes.
Favorite movie
No
you've
good.
watched lately?
Me, Myself, and Irene. Probably for the dozenth time.
Okay. Favorite holiday song?
Favorite holiday song? Oh, well, I'll have to say, Alex, despite what appears to be a Christmas tree, it is Advent. It's not Christmas. O come, Emmanuel. Ask me again on the 25th. I'll give you a different answer.
And what's your favorite holiday tradition?
I love Christmas Eve. And in Christmas, there were wonderful things on Christmas Eve, midnight mass, and all this, but I have a personal one, which is that with my stepbrother, going back 15 years now, we play the Frasier drinking game in the evening. And we sit and we watch reruns of Frasier. One person is Team Frasier, one is Team Niles, and every time your character does or says anything pretentious, you have to drink, which means that you are speaking in cursive within about 5 minutes.
Wow, there's a tradition. All right, Michael, thank you so much. Great to see you. And in the holiday spirit, we go to break with some music, Joy to the World. Up next, an inspiring story of how the LA Rams are using their cleats to send a powerful message. When you watch the Rams play this weekend, pay special attention to their feet.
Ooh, that's sweet, I ain't gonna lie.
When Rams running back Kyren Williams, Ronnie Rivers, and Blake Corum suit up on Sunday, they'll be wearing cleats featuring the Axe ALS Foundation logo.
So much is I feel like I'm get the power from this shoe just holding it because this is not a regular cleat anymore.
This is greater than football. Football is my passion, but giving back is my purpose.
They're all part of the NFL's My Cause, My Cleats initiative, allowing players to highlight nonprofits of their choice. Running backs coach Ron Gould inspired his backs, along with wideout Puka Nacua, to support Axe ALS this year.
It really warms my heart.
Axe ALS is a nonprofit started by ALS survivor Eric Stevens and his wife Amanda. Gould coached Eric at UC Berkeley, and they've remained close.
Eric is my son, and that how much I love him, and I love Amanda, and
We speak via Zoom with Amanda. Coach Gould described Eric as his son, and he started tearing up when talking about it. What does Coach Gould mean to your family?
Oh, man. Whew. It's been over 10 years since Coach Gould was Eric's coach. And the fact that he still is so involved in Eric's life just really goes to show the type of person that he is.
Coach G first recruited Eric to UC Berkeley, where he'd meet Amanda, a soccer player there. He'd go on to play briefly for the St. Louis Rams before starting a career as a firefighter in Southern California. Eric popped the question to Amanda in 2018. Right after they got married in 2019, Eric was diagnosed with ALS at just 29 years old.
when Eric told me that he had it, I broke down and I cried.
Gould's own brother-in-law had died from ALS, so he knew what was coming, a disease that slowly shuts down the body, but not the mind, with no cure.
We're trying to change it from terminal to treatable.
Axe ALS, with the axes in the logo, is inspired by Eric's background as a firefighter.
You guys ready to raise some money for this family?
They help fund ALS research and awareness.
Right when he got diagnosed, he said, what about the people who don't have the support system that I have, and what can we do for them?
Coach G is part of that support system, checking in with Eric and his kids every week to say, I love you.
I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to help him and ALS to bring that awareness.
Coach G's current running backs hear him talk about Eric all the time and wanted to chip in by wearing these cleats.
Yeah, we were all in. It was a no-brainer.
I'm really inspired by Eric's story.
And it must be emotional also to have your sons now all stepping up for your other son.
Absolutely. And we talk about family, and that's what it is. Eric's my family, but I got a group of men in our room is my family as well.
One of those family members is Kyren Williams, who is especially focused on using his platform for good.
For me, it's all about inspiration and, being able to inspire the youth.
Kyron first learned that lesson about service as a kid. That's a young Kyron with Steven Jackson, who was then the Rams running back and nominee for Walter Payton Man of the Year. Everybody welcome Steven Jackson. This week, Jackson surprised Williams with big news.
Our buddy here is the Walter Payton Rams nominee for this season.
Mama gonna cry with
I feel like God put me in this position to play football, and this is what I'm able to do, is to give back and, be, like I said, to inspire.
That now includes inspiring support for ALS survivors, like Eric. What's the bottom line message you want people to take away from this story, from the Axe ALS story?
No matter what you're going through, whether it's Axe ALS, whatever, cancer, it doesn't really matter. People are here to support you.
What have you learned from Eric's story?
Just to never take anything for granted.
Smile like Eric does. Smile like Amanda does.
What do you hope Eric sees when he sees these cleats on Sunday?
I hope he understands how much we love him.
Our final word, sent in by Eric himself.
Thank you, Coach E, for all the love and support.
Thank you to the running backs and to Puka for supporting Axe ALS.
Go Rams!
You can find out more at axeals.org. We'll be right back to wrap things up.
It is truly the opportunity of a lifetime.
This week, I spoke one-on-one with LA's new district attorney, Nathan Hochman. You can check that out at youtube.com/Elex Michaelson. You'll also find there our conversation with Senator Alex Padilla in the kitchen of Project Angel Food, feeding some of California's most vulnerable. And we caught up with Patricia Heaton of Everybody Loves Raymond fame about her activism as a Christian fighting anti-Semitism. You can find all of that at youtube.com/Elex Michaelson. And you can find extended versions of all of our interviews in podcast form anytime, on demand, as well, for free. Just search for The Issue Is wherever you stream. Thanks for watching. See you next week.